The more hands you shake, the more money you make, and that always sits in the back of my mind.
And it's one of the most powerful that freed me.
I actually lied on my resume, told them I had a degree.
And I tell everybody, because so many people start it and quit, and I'm like, that's the greatest detriment to whatever you do in the future.
When I turned 40, I decided I was going to do a marathon.
So hey guys, Conversations Left Behind. We are back again, and I have a guest in the studio, a friend of mine that is really cool. You're gonna wanna lean into this. This is Kyle Fernandez, and he's with Elevate Realty right now. That's your main thing.
Correct.
And he's built a brokerage here in St. Louis, a really successful brokerage. And there's some things that I thought, we could really have an engaging conversation that people would dig, because it exposes some things from your journey along the way. So before we dig into that, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
So I grew up in St. Louis native. I got into real estate in 2001 because of my grandmother. She got me into the business. I did real estate from 01 to 08. When the market crashed. I wish I could say I was smart enough to know the market was crashing, but back in the day, I bought, I think we bought 15 properties on stated income, stated asset. We thought we were the smartest guys ever. We were buying homes in South City, and we learned real quick because I had a friend at Bank of America who is a personal banker, and we learned their system. So we knew little pockets of South City that we knew we could go in and keep the numbers simple. We could go buy a house for $60,000 in South City. Bank of America would do an estimation of value. They wouldn't even do an appraisal. They wouldn't even drive by the house. They'd say, well, that house is worth $120,000.
Nice.
So we buy at 60, pay cash, borrowed our first deal from a buddy, said, hey, let us borrow 60 grand. We'll pay you back, 65,000 in 2 weeks is how we're doing it. So on that particular property, I think we took $100,000 off. So we made $40,000 buying that house. So
it's a good hit.
Smartest guys ever. We were brilliant.
What year was that?
This was in, 05, 06.
Oh,
yeah.
So right at the height there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the bubble.
Yeah, so
sweet spot.
Yeah, we're like, we are brilliant. Let's do this again.
Yeah.
So again, rinse and repeat. And we thought we bought a Mercedes. We bought a nice house in Fenton that had a built-in pool. It was kind of our party house. And then I remember when things were slowly starting to turn, like, okay, now we have these homes. It's interest-only loans, if you remember, on those home equities. So interest-only. Yeah. And I remember we were collecting our own rent. So we're going down not good areas in the city.
Literally knocking on
doors to collect the rent. Yeah. I went into one house, and when we're coming in, people are going out the back door that's stealing plumbing. So really it was like, we weren't in a good spot. And I wish, it was right when the market was crashing, but ultimately there's a house in South City that somebody just got held up. I'm like, dude, I'm done. I told Brian, my business partner, I go, I'm done. I don't want to. We weren't really selling a whole lot of real estate at that point. We're more buying real estate. We're selling to friends and family. For lack of better terms, we had a jokerage, right?
Yeah.
So
that's a good term.
So I pivoted. I applied for a job selling dental implants. Actually lied on my resume, told them I had a degree. And
what kind of degree?
So it was a business degree.
Yeah.
And ironically, so Brian went to Missouri State. It was Southwest Missouri State. And at that time, when we were making a little bit of money from buying homes, I got a piece of mail. We lived together. We were roommates. I got a piece of mail, and somehow our names got crossed. So it had my name under Southwest Missouri State for an alumnus. So I was like, So I started donating a little bit of money, $300 at a pop, $500. So finally, great. After I donated $2,500, I called him and said, hey, I would appreciate if you at least get my name right as an alumnus on these certificates or whatever that you're sending me in the mail. They're like, hey, we're sorry, the alumni department didn't talk to the school.
Wow.
So I'm technically an alumnus at Missouri State University and never stepped foot in.
Never attended.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. It cost me about $5,000 just by giving them donations. So,
cheapest degree ever. So I lied about my degree, but I always had to cover up. Call the alumni department. They'll verify I'm an alumnus because I am. They just didn't talk to each other. A good salesman can sell anything. So lied about my degree, got a job selling dental implants. I did that for about 8 years. I actually brought Brian onto the business. It started off at a company called Clear Choice Dental Implant Center. They're based here in St. Louis, and then Aspen Dental decided to get in the implant world.
So I took a job with Aspen Dental. They're opening up it's called Turning Point Dental Implant Center in Indianapolis. They made Brian and I directors, so we had like an apartment out there, right? Like, who can make this stuff up? Our wives are like, are you kidding me?
And this is all $5,000 in donations.
Yep. Well, I was pretty damn good at selling implants too, so that helped.
Right.
Yeah, it's a different, like, you see the patient first, like the first person the patient saw was us.
Yeah.
So it was like direct to consumer type of sales. So a full mouth restoration was $50,000, and you really had like an hour to close them on $50,000. Yeah, and insurance didn't pay any.
And that was in 05, 06,
No,
07?
so this got to be like 2008, 8 or 9, yeah.
So people are paying $50,000
yeah.
to redo all their teeth.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cash, no insurance. Yeah. Now we offered financing, and really you had like, the consults were like an hour and a half long. So you had essentially an hour and a half to take them from start to finish, close them, get financing. So it was,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm going to brush my teeth.
Brush your teeth. I learned a ton about dental. Like, I knew more about dental industry than most people. Like, I could read a CT scan. The surgeon would come in and be like, take this tooth out. We need grafting here. Like, just got really good at it. Like anything else. You see it numerous times. So I did that for about, 8 years. And I remember I was traveling to Indiana, and I was just done. Like, I was like, I'm away from home too much.
So you were traveling a lot.
So I would leave my house on Sunday. I wouldn't come back till Thursday. I had an apartment in Indianapolis.
Were you married?
Married, yeah.
Any kids at the time?
Yeah, yep. She was young. She was still in, just started, what was she? I guess she was starting like 4th grade. So yeah, I missed a big window. It sucked, yeah. So as that was going on, I remember like driving out to Indy, and I now looking back, it was probably the first nervous breakdown I probably had. Like, I was just pulled up in the parking lot, my heart was racing, and I had like 6 patients lined up, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? And my wife was getting ready to turn 40. So about a week after that was her 40th birthday. We booked a cruise. So on that cruise, I asked parents to go, friends to go. Well, the only people that ended up going was Lynn and I and her parents. Her dad's a Vietnam veteran. So we show up for the cruise, and sure shit enough, there's an LGBT convention going on the cruise, which I don't care. Like, not at all.
Yeah.
And so the day 2, I was sitting at the pool, and I got smoked. I got so burnt. I mean, my last name is Fernandez, but I got the worst Spanish skin ever. So I'm sitting at the bar with these gay guys, just having fun. I'm like, hey, there's my wife right there. And sitting next to me, this guy his name's Kevin Palmer. He was just in conversation. What do you do? What do you do? Kevin's like, I own a real estate brokerage in Atlanta. I go, you do? How much production you guys do? He's like, last year we did 1.2 billion.
It's a good number with a B.
So with a B, he's like, yeah, with a B. I'm like, okay. And then he kind of told me a little bit more about his business and how he got there. And I'd see him throughout. After that, he gave me his card, and he's like, hey, call me anytime. So I remember coming back home. I had another crappy week. I opened up my drawer. It was God. His card fell out, like literally fell out. I'm like, okay, that's a sign. So I called him. I said, hey, call him for 2 reasons. One, I wanted to see if he was full of shit.
Yeah.
Because everybody talks big game on vacation, right?
And when they're drinking.
You got it. And 2, I wanted to see if I could just come out and pick his brain. So I call him up and say, hey, it's Kyle Fernandez, St. Louis. Do you remember me? I do remember you. I go, do you mind if my business partner and I come out just to pick your brain? And he's like, absolutely. I live at the Ritz-Carlton. I'll have my driver pick you up. I'm like, okay, that's a good sign.
Maybe he was doing something with a B.
My office is in Buckhead. I'm like, okay, all right. So check. So, we jump on a flight literally like 2 weeks later, go out to Atlanta. Dude, he was an open book. He was awesome. Just a really you name it, any question, he held nothing back. So we had lunch with him, and we had dinner plans that evening. And Brian and I were working out at the Ritz because the Ritz came with 2 rooms since he lived there. And I was like, dude, why reinvent the wheel? Let's see if Kevin wants to just open up a Palmer house in St. Louis.
Yeah.
So we went up to his condo, and we're having a glass of wine. We're like, hey, do you want to open up a Palmer house in St. Louis? He was like, done. We shook hands, and I went home. I told Lynn, hey, you told me you have a plan. My plan is I'm going to go back into real estate. She's like, okay. Like, luckily she was 100% supportive. So I quit my job. Palmer House Properties was born in St. Louis.
What's funny about that story is, so a lot of people, where they miss the boat or where they miss the mark in their next thing is they don't have the courage to ask somebody something.
Oh, you for sure.
So
Yeah.
like this guy, and what's funny is, and tell me if you've seen this too, but it seems like the people who are more successful are more of an open book to share.
Always. Yep.
Yeah.
They're always willing to help because most people won't do anything with it.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Most people.
Yeah.
But, and on the flip side of that, it's even worse because if you know that, then it makes you kind of want to step back and say, don't waste my time, trying to help you share all this. But I found, and I always say, nobody's self-made.
That's exactly right.
I saw this article on Forbes, and I can't remember who was on the cover, and they were saying self-made billionaire. And I laughed at it, and I thought, what a joke, man.
No such thing.
No such thing. I mean, any of the success, now I didn't think this till I hit a new level of maturity and perspective in my life. I never even dawned on me. But all the stepping stones I had, I can trace them back now when I go back and reflect on my journey to the people who were stepping stones along the way that had they not been there, well, I'm not sure where it would have landed.
For sure.
So that's cool. And I think that's a big part that a lot of people miss.
Huge. Brad Lee, I love his podcast, Dropping Bombs, and he's like, the more hands you shake, the more money you make, and that always sticks in the back of my mind. Like relationships, and that's not why you have relationships, but relationships usually equal currency, right? I never look at anybody as like, I'm gonna make $1 off, but you never know what that connection is gonna be. Hence, Kevin Palmer, right?
Yeah, and the saying is, you've probably heard it, your network is your net worth.
That's exactly right.
Or Jim Rohn, he's probably one of my top mentors.
I love Jim, yeah.
And then he trained Tony Robbins.
Yep.
Different arm, with what is it, NLP or whatever, that Tony Robbins went down that path. But he always says, show me your 5 closest friends and I'll show you your future.
So true. It is so true.
But both
true.
It is, but both equate to people.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's important. So that's cool. So you found this guy and he's like, hey, I'm willing to share.
Yeah. So we opened up. Yeah, I took him up on it, quit my job. And then I remember.
What's that look like when you tell a wife, I quit my job?
Luckily, she was very supportive. And her whole thing was just have a plan. It was a 6-figure job, expense account, nice car. But I was stuck. So luckily she was very supportive of it. Now where the problem came into play is week 1, I'm back at it and I'm back into real estate. And I remember I'm driving to the Central West End to show a condo. And I'm like, see what I want to do. This is working this is the same, but different, right? Like,
so you were selling.
I was selling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you were starting from scratch.
It was Brian, myself, our parents, our moms, we had our moms, and I think we had like 2 other agents. There's 7 of us. Yeah. Completely from scratch.
So your mom sold real estate as well?
No,
is that what
she
it was?
just had her license.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
So just became part of the team.
Yes. Yeah. It was
Love
just,
it.
no. Brian's mom sold a little bit, but no, it was Brian and I selling real estate. We got in with Barry Russell, doing some short sales. So we had some immediate business off the bat.
Funny.
Yeah. So we started doing some short sale business. That's how we got to know Barry. But I'm like, I do not want to sell real estate.
I dealt with those guys and we created a system for short sales.
Yeah.
And they were negotiating with the banks for me, and we had kind of a whole circle. Fast forward, that's actually where you and I met at Barry's, or Derek, I'm not sure who's who right now.
So
but
you were the guy doing the short sale business with them.
I was doing some short sale. I was just one of many.
Yes, but most of it.
I don't know.
Because you decided to go a different direction, and that's how we fell into that. Because Brian,
Really?
yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, just put that together. I'll be damned.
So I don't know how much value I did versus anybody else. I don't know.
Yeah.
We weren't like partners. We didn't have like a partnership.
Same. Yeah.
I was just utilizing them. So they were part of the system that we built to process short sales and just to, expedite that timeline. So funny. And then you and I connect through being asked to speak at that real estate event.
Yeah.
And wow, small world. Okay.
Very.
Okay. I didn't mean to slow you down.
No, that's, I just put that together.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
crazy.
So from there.
So from there, we started to build Palmer House Properties. I met, who is now a third partner. Her name's Spencer Argetta. She was working the front desk at the gym, and she was fire. She just was great, dynamite personality. Knew everybody's name. It was 5 a.m. She was chipper, and I remember thinking, I'd love for that girl to work for me one day. And then I found out she was getting a real estate license, and then she interviewed with a bunch, and then she landed with us.
Nice.
So collectively, we went from like selling $6 million in real estate. And now this is going back 10 years ago when Palmer House Properties was born. Year 3, we hit like 100 million, 30
Nice.
agents. Year 4, we're doing like 140, 150, 40 agents, 50 agents. And then year 5, Kevin there'd always be a big announcement, and there's always like a banquet dinner once a year celebrating top producers. Well, this year he only brought in like top producers, brokers, because he had other little pocket kind of franchise. It wasn't a franchise, but he brought, was it Florida? There's somebody in, I think, Arizona, St. Louis, Alaska. Ironically, knew somebody in Alaska. So we're all at this convention in Atlanta, dinner, and it just felt weird, right? So his big announcement was he sold the company. He sold to HomeSmart. So, the great thing is we learned a lot.
Surprise.
The bad thing is we had a handshake agreement.
Yeah.
So he sold, and again, I have no remorse. We were a small piece of a big picture, but we got nothing.
Yeah.
And HomeSmart came in, and after the dinner, they called us and said, "Hey, we need you guys to come to Tucson. We'll fly out to Tucson." So Brian and I went out to Tucson. We sat down just how we are right now. There's 3 people, and they're like, "So we own you guys." And Brian's like, "Whoa, you might have bought us."
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting way to
great
phrase it.
approach. Yeah, he's like, "But you don't own us." But okay, so they're like, "We're going to put you guys on a salary. This is how this is going to work."
The infamous cap. There it is. Okay.
So I was like, "So if I want to take a vacation, I need to call. Yep. You got to let us know you're taking a vacation." I'm like, "Okay." So we just kind of played okay, this is great. Knowing in the back of our mind, like, this is never going to happen, right? Yeah. So we got back to St. Louis. So like, all right, we got to figure out how we're going to exit this. We're like, boy, we really built this Palmer House brand in St. Louis. We did. So we went to an attorney and we said, look, we want to continue the Palmer House brand. It was Palmer House Properties and Associates. We want to be Palmer House Realty. And he said, I think there's a far enough distinction between the two of it. So yeah, he gave us the green light to become Palmer House Realty. So we called Missouri State Real Estate Commission and said, hey, we just started a new brokerage. How long do you think it would take? This is when it was super antiquated,
Yeah.
How long would it take if we need to transfer everybody over? I think we had 52 agents at that time. They're like, oh, that'll take at least 2 days. No problem. We're going to drive down there. And if we have to stay overnight, we'll stay overnight. I told Brian, dude, let's get some really nice donuts and some coffee and orange juice, and let's walk in with with all the licenses. So we did that. Went to Jeff City.
Here you go.
Yeah, with all of our licenses, and we're like, hey, take your time. We don't expect this to be done anytime quickly, but we're going to stay in town.
But by the time those donuts are gone, we expect it all.
It was about that. Yeah, we went and had lunch, and they called us while we were at lunch and said, you're ready to go. So on the way back, we called HomeSmart and said, hey, you guys no longer have a brokerage in St. Louis. So they're like, okay. Well, they did a little homework, saw that we're Palmer House Realties. We bought signs. We got all of our logo. 30 days later, we get a cease and desist. Yeah. So we're like, shit. So we call the attorney, thinking he'd be like, all good. You guys are good. He's like, yeah. All right. So this is how it's going to go down. It's probably going to cost you about $100,000. He's like, and that's really just kicking the can down the road.
Yeah. He's
like, it's going to be a 2-year process. And I'm like, dude, all I heard is $100,000. I'm like, I don't care that much about the name.
Yeah.
So we locked ourselves into an office, and that's how Elevate Realty was born.
Yeah. Because you would continue to bleed.
Yeah. Yep. And we were at least smart enough to be like, this is stupid. Why?
Yeah.
So we just kind of had to rebrand everything but
what year was that?
So that was 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was when we became Elevate.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So Elevate Realty is a known name in St. Louis.
Getting there.
At this point.
Yeah.
A lot of people know who you are.
Getting
so
there.
that's great that you get the brand recognition. They
And
don't
the
always
cost,
know, and they don't always know the story behind it, because 5 years is not a long time.
Not a ton, no.
Yeah.
But it's really, we had a little, 5 years we had Palmer House, and we just kind of merged.
Right.
But grew since then.
But you're at, last conversation, I think you're at, if we just kind of estimate, you're about 100.
About 100, yeah.
So you got about 100 agents.
About 100 agents. We'll do over 300 million this year.
Good for
you. Our per person production is really high for industry standard.
That's good.
Because one thing that we offer is we offer leads, and that's our big incentive. We can literally take a brand new agent, and it's happened numerous times, right out of school, and within 45 days they have 4 or 5 closings.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good incentive because most of them starve for the first 6
They
months.
say go work your SOI, you know, and what friend or family member wants a brand new agent just
Who doesn't know anything, just
You
to
got
feed them
it.
cash
You
so they
got
get a
it.
commission check.
Yeah.
It sucks.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good. Love seeing where you guys are at now.
Yeah.
And I've met your partner, Brian, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
Business partner.
Business partner.
Just so
That's
that
okay.
doesn't,
Yeah,
because
that-
we're in a different world right now. So.
We've been called worse.
Yeah, I know. So just so everybody knows
Yeah.
what type of partnership it is.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's answer this. I know, you just described some of the challenges of like, having to transition from Palmer House into Elevate Realty. You have to pivot sometimes.
There's a lot of transitions that happened during that time.
Yeah.
That was left out. Yeah.
What would you say has been the greatest roadblock from the first version of Kyle to this version of Kyle? Obviously, that journey and all that span in between is what shaped you.
Giving up control. Yeah, dude, not that long ago, like I was processing all the checks. I was doing the 1099s, and I'm not a numbers guy. So just getting out of my way, like and I say my, like all three of us, like, okay, identify our role, stick to that role, and then delegate.
Yeah.
Leaning on other people because we can't be great at everything, right?
Yep, right.
So, if I could redo it all over again, I would learn to delegate way easier.
Sooner.
Sooner than what I did.
So most of the people that I have conversation with, whether they're part of mentorship program or whatever it may be, it's usually all in that same area. Now, it depends because those who are less than $1 million, now when I say million, that's actual, net. They don't always get it yet, but those who are upwards of 5 or 10, they get it. And it's still the same challenge,
right?
But that's where the real crux is. One of my greatest, I usually talk on the 7 primary fears, and I won't pull them all out right now, but the last one, the 7th, is fear of delegation or fear of letting go. And it's one of the most powerful that freed me from it gave me the life that I have now.
Yeah.
And it's really a matter of control and trust.
I was just going to say, trust is the hardest part.
And I always tell everybody, because sometimes I'm speaking to a room of founders.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, the truth is, you think nobody can do it as good as you. And honestly, they probably can't, You've got the blood, sweat, and tears. You've got the process nailed down. It's muscle memory for you.
Right.
It's not for somebody else. And they may have a different intent behind what they're doing versus yours may have been survival mode.
For sure.
That goes deep,
Yep.
In those little processes, which kind of creates that control and trust issue. The funny thing is, you have to wear all the hats when you're building a business, but then there comes a point where you have to pass all the hats out that you used to wear.
Yep.
And that's the only point that freedom begins. So that was my biggest one as well before I came into the vertical that really freed me. Now, I get to sit here with cool people like you in the middle of the day.
That's not too bad.
Or whenever I want, because I got an amazing team that does the work.
The good thing is doing it, you kind of know it. So I can go into the accounting software and I can, I can see, like, make sure, like, hey, okay, the money's getting allocated as it should. So one of the good things is doing it, you learn it. So you also know how to make sure you're not getting screwed over.
I always premise it with trust, but verify. Always verify.
That's so true.
So a friend of mine, Dan Martell, says it like this, and I love this. He said, 80% done by somebody else is 100% awesome. Just is.
That. Yeah,
and I use that all the time.
Yeah.
So, and we were talking, he was pressing that into me. I saw it in his book too. Have you ever read his book?
No.
Buy Back Your Time.
Okay. I have not. No.
Man, it's a good read.
I'll get it.
So any business owners, if you haven't read that book, Dan Martell, he's about as real as you see him online, just a really cool dude. And he kind of pressed into some stuff with me and exposed that with me.
That's good advice.
The sooner I dug into that. Now, my whole premise is when I approach my dusty desk, I say dusty desk because I don't use it much anymore, is if there's something there for me, the question becomes, why is it there? And who have I not trained to do that task? So that's what creates the real freedom, is learning how to pass those on and work yourself out of a job. That's where the real freedom comes from. So you've crossed that. Now you're delegating in the business.
Much more
is flowing.
delegating. Yes. Yeah.
But here's another challenge that I see with a lot of people who have kind of a journey like you have. You've got a business partner, right?
Two. Yeah.
Oh, two.
Yeah,
Okay.
Spencer and Brian.
I don't know Spencer. I know Brian.
Yep.
Great guy. And we're going to have a conversation
you guys are meeting up.
soon as well.
Yeah.
But it's quite the task to have, not task, it's quite an accomplishment to have a partner that you've carried for that long?
Oh, so I've been friends with Brian since we're 18.
Okay.
So he's like a brother.
Okay.
So it's truly
Even harder. Now he just made it more difficult.
Yeah. And we're total polar opposites, and that's why it works.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. I'm going to jump and I'll figure out how I'm going to land on my way down. And Brian's more like regimented. Now, how far is the jump? And can I do this? And so it just works, and it's like good cop, bad cop. So that's why it works. And then Spencer's just the amazing analytical. She loves the charts and the graphs and the trainings, and that's just not us. So
that's great.
Knowing what you're good at and know what you're not good at, and lean on the people that know what they're good at and let them do that.
So is that your advice for picking a good partner? Because you know as well as I do, most partnerships fail.
Most fail.
And if they're your friend or your family,
makes it even tougher.
You may not have a relationship anymore. It kills a lot of stuff. So.
It can. You really have to trust them. And again, it's just been, we lived together for a long time. We were bachelors as long as we could possibly be bachelors. So we've been through some stuff together. We trust each other wholeheartedly. Same with Spencer.
Yeah.
I
think that's the hardest part.
Is the trust factor.
Yeah.
It's not even a thought though at this point. And I think about, because I hear that all the time. And, one of the people I do look up to, Andy, First Form, him and his brother run that, and it's like, okay, that's $1 billion company.
Yeah.
So finding the right partner, obviously his brother is the right partner.
Sure.
It can work.
Yeah.
But you have to find the right partner.
Yeah.
Because we've partnered on some real estate transactions, which was not the right partner, and we've been burned.
Yeah. Oh, I believe it. And I've seen so many partnerships die, and they not only die, they end badly.
They do. And you can usually pick them out. Like I know some partnerships right now, I'm like, that's not going to work.
Yeah, for sure.
You can just you can tell by the personalities and the dynamics. I'm like, that's not going to work.
Yeah. So Elevate Realty is you're moving into autopilot phase.
Kinda, I'd say I wish I could say yes, but I feel like the minute we kind of take the foot off the gas is when
you start getting behind.
Yeah. So we're not to that point yet. Where do I want to be? 1,000 agents and $1 billion in revenue. So we're a long way away from that. Well,
I know the both of you, not real well, but we've spent some time together.
Yeah, you saved our ass. Like you saved us because we were getting ready to move into that other office.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So we kiboshed that, and then our wonderful app idea, which you did a lot of work on it. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But you kiboshed that too.
Well, I didn't mean to.
No, it was looking back. It was the right advice.
Yeah. To me, it's really, I always say it's easier to read the label from the outside looking in than from the inside looking out. So, iron sharpens iron. Yeah. That's how this game works.
I appreciate the advice, or else we would have put ourselves into a $300,000 short-term hole because it was just a lease. Now it's like, okay, if we're going to do it, let's buy and let it make sense.
For sure. For sure.
Split it up and have, somebody else come in and rent one half, and then we can do the other half. So just, we had our blinders on. Looking back, I'm like, what the hell were we thinking?
That's the whole reason why we have conversations.
Yeah.
It's just that because, again, it's sometimes you don't see, but what you see from the inside looking out.
Yeah.
And it's important to have that collaborative conversation, which then gives you alternative ideas because we're only one by ourselves, so we're just a collection of our own experiences. And that's not much in lieu of everybody else's journey. So there's power.
It's good to bring in a third person, because Brian and I were feeding off each other's bad advice, yes. And then Spencer's like, oh, if you guys think it's okay, we're like, we're going to do this. It's going to create an atmosphere to get people in the office. It wouldn't have.
Well, at least you figured it out. That's what's important.
Yeah, you kind of gave us that nudge, so I appreciate it.
That's cool. No, I enjoyed hanging out with you guys, and I hope we get to do some more of it.
For sure.
I'm sure we will. So let's pivot just a little bit. I mean, you're like sitting over here making me look like this little dude. You're all busting out at the seams.
I just buy my shirts in the small section.
I love it. I do the same. I'm just kidding.
So that's the trick.
Yeah. No, you clearly value fitness.
I do. Yeah.
So what's that look like? Because, we talked about fitness is important to me as far as the pillars and the sequence of how you find success. So when did this happen? Has this always been your thing?
No, I was fat.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us about that one.
So
and when?
In my 20s.
Okay.
Yeah. Backpedal a little bit. I was kind of somewhat into fitness like when I was like 20, and then I got married at 22 and just kind of let myself go. I was 240, had fat, I couldn't do a flight of steps.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was overweight. Traveling didn't help. I was drinking way too much, smoking way too much weed while I was on the road because, I didn't have anything else to do. My family was here. I had some friends I did meet at the gym, but I'd really just go to the gym just so I can meet some people out in Indiana. Yeah.
I don't like those people at the gym, by the way. I'm like, hey, man, I'm here to work out. I want to get in and get out.
Like my wife gives me trouble about so I've met some great connection. I was just in Dallas from people that I met at the gym, and I sold their house. So I'm pretty selective on who I do take on as a client now and at Lifetime. They're good clients. I just sold a house right down the road. They're friends now.
Yeah.
And so it's yes, the guys that talk get on your nerves, but you start to see the same people and you do develop a relationship, and you usually have something in common because they're into fitness as well. And there's usually you can kind of, especially the early morning crowd, right? Like they're fit, they're usually successful. So there's a pattern. So they're usually like-minded, right? So,
maybe I'm going to the wrong place.
could
Kyle.
be so Lifetime's kind of been my I've been going there for so long, but to kind of back up,
on Clarkson?
Yeah, on Clarkson.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I turned 40, I decided I was going to do a marathon. So I trained for a full marathon, ended up getting a sinus infection the day of, but we fundraised, Brian and I fundraised. I was in Memphis, and I called him. I go, dude, I'm sick. And he's like, nice try, buddy.
So what?
Yeah, he's like, get your ass in the car, drive to Memphis. Yeah, so I ended up doing a half marathon.
Oh, that's great.
And then that's kind of when I really started to take fitness serious. Now, when I was marathon training, you can't have a lot of muscle on. So
I know, man, it burns it all off.
It does. Yeah, the best thing about marathon training, you literally on the days when you're training for a full, I think the longest run was 22 miles. I mean, the calories that you burn.
Brutal.
Yeah, but you go and eat whatever the hell you want. Yeah, that was the best thing about it. So after I finished that marathon, I noticed I was kind of lethargic. I just didn't feel myself. So at that point, I went and got blood work done. And they found out my testosterone levels were low, as most men's are from the food and stuff, the chemicals they put in our food right now. So I got on TRT, and that's really when I started to get, I'd like to say fit, but I was still not eating great, So I did first year, just 3 years ago, I did 75 hard. Which Sandy Frisella is. It's an amazing mental toughness program.
It's tough.
It is tough. Drink a gallon of water. You have to read 10 pages a day. That's motivational. No alcohol, which that's amazing. Mm-hmm. What am I missing? 2 workouts a day. One has to be outdoor, 45 minutes each, and pick a diet and stick to it. So my first time I counted macros. So I hired a coach to help me with my macros, and most people, I didn't even know what macros was. Do you know what the macros are like?
No.
Macros is what's your carbs, what's your protein, how many calories you taking in, how many calories going out. So I remember I hired this coach, and he's like, one of the things he said is, hey, fat is fat. Because I was like, dude, I'm eating I don't understand. I'm not losing weight, but I'd eat a thing of peanuts or almonds. He's like, fat is fat. It doesn't matter what kind of fat, because we all say it's healthy fat. No, fat is fat. So that's when I was really started to be okay, I'm going to take this serious. And so Brian and I had a competition who could get below 10% body fat the quickest. And it was the prize was a watch. So
what kind of watch was it?
So I got a Rolex.
Okay. And just making sure it was worth.
It was, yes, and his was a Panerai. Okay. So we both hit our goal. So he bought me a Rolex. I bought him a Panerai.
Nice.
Which was it was a great goal. So then, last 2 years ago, I decided I want to take it to the next level. I don't want to count my calories. I don't want to do intermittent. I don't want to do weigh my food, and that just kind of sucked. I was it's a pain in the ass.
It's exhausting.
Completely. So I decided I'm going to do intermittent fasting. So 2 years ago, I was at that stayed about 10% body fat. Intermittent fasting changed everything for me. Last Saturday, I was 4.7% body fat.
No way.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So my window is usually from noon to 7 is when I eat.
Okay.
And I pretty much eat what I want.
Wow. But you're at the gym a lot.
So I'm at the gym 7 days a week. And I still do and then 15,000 steps a day.
Every day.
Every day.
So let's talk to the person who sits in front of monitors, or maybe the other real estate.
That's the best thing, is it makes you, so I have my 3-mile walk, which that's only 6,000 steps. So I do
Every day?
every day.
Wow.
It forces me to get my ass up and go move. And it doesn't matter if it's raining or snowing, I'm doing it.
So you're doing it from home.
So I do.
doing a walk
So I
around
do
here.
my walk from home. I do 5 miles on the elliptical, and then I always lift for 45 minutes
5 miles on the elliptical every day?
every day.
Wow.
And then I'll do a 45-minute lift, and then at some point during the day, I walk my 3 miles.
Dude, you're a beast.
It's here.
It is.
It's here.
It is.
Now it's non-negotiable. And my favorite workouts are when it's snowing, it's cold as shit, it's raining.
That's where it's really
Dude,
here.
you get done and you're like,
I did it.
I did it. Anybody can do it when it's 80 degrees out and sunny.
Yeah,
It's the tough days that you win.
Oh, totally.
It's a win.
And I tell everybody, because so many people start it and quit, and I'm like, that's the greatest detriment to whatever you do in the future.
Yep.
Because you're training yourself that you're really not going to win.
Yeah.
So you never really set yourself up for success. For instance, like a book, I have this rule. If I start a book and the book sucks and I'm like, oh man, I'm not really digging this book, because there's books like that, you get into.
Yeah.
I finish it anyway. And I finish it because I want to get to the end, check that off and say, I finished that
did
book.
it. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even though I hated it, it was kind of grueling, and every morning, because I read in the morning, didn't look forward to it, but it adds this mental confidence that really applies to so much more than just a book.
It's the little things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So on 75 Hard, I forgot you have to take a progress picture every day.
Oh, okay.
And the number one reason why people fail is they forget the simplest task, the progress picture.
Okay.
And if you miss, you have to go back to day 1. So if you're on day 30
man,
and you
that's
miss your
terrible.
picture, you go
That's
back to day
terrible.
1. But it tells you it's the little bitty things that make
Yeah.
the big differences. And that's why it's a mental toughness program, not a fitness program.
Yeah.
Because it's the little things. I'm like you. I start my day off every day. I read the Bible. It's non-negotiable. We talked before we jumped on. I journal. It's non-negotiable. Does it suck? Kinda.
Sometimes,
Because you're writing the same thing over and over. But then all of a sudden something new pops in my head. I'm like, where did that come from? And I've kept every journal. I started doing it 10 years ago. I've kept every journal over the last 10 years. And if I go pull a journal from 10 years ago, I've accomplished everything that was so surreal to me, because you're writing in future, present tense, it's already happened.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to own this many properties. And at that time I was dipping, I'm going to quit. So it's everything I journal for has happened.
Yeah.
And then your goals and dreams just become bigger, and it's amazing. It's manifestation. It works.
It is.
God is so powerful. So I'm like, you got to let God know what you want. He knows your thoughts, but there's something to writing it down on paper.
There is.
Make it happen.
So the Bible talks about words of prophecy. So you have to be cautious about what we speak, because they actually bring life or death,
Yes.
depending on what you speak. So they do. They manifest. Our thoughts manifest.
Thoughts are things.
Whatever.
They better be positive.
They better be positive.
Yeah.
And if you want to, the writing. So, it's hard. And I was just talking to a group. I was in Tennessee speaking at a conference, income builders group. And we were talking about, I said, look, even though we have all these digital things that are, at our fingertips, our phones, our tablets, our computers, whatever else. And this was funny because the guy who spoke just a little bit before me came up, and he's showing this little tiny journal. I'm not sure I agree with this completely, but his day journal. So he writes out in this tiny little handwriting every little thing he has to do for the day and everything else. I'm like, dude, that's on another whole level. That's like stepping back 20 years for me.
I do the same thing. I have a sheet of paper.
Man.
It's my, it's my power list, right?
Yeah.
It's my non-negotiable, but it's a lot of the same thing, journal, gym. I write the same thing down, but to me, it's something about checking off that list, right?
You're right. There's power in checking off
Power
the
on
list.
checking it off.
So I do that too.
Yeah.
And what I know, what science tells us, is that when we write, all of our motor skills are focused on that thought, because it's putting our thoughts on paper, and it requires so much movement, which embeds it deeper inside of us, into our minds, whatever else, 80% higher retention. So it's pretty incredible. So I'll write the important things that are goals or my to-dos that I want to embed. And it's funny because then I memorize them. When I put them in my phone, I'm always going back to my phone, what were they?
Yeah.
But this guy was writing everything for his entire day. And I'm like, dude, I'd be like writing for like 2 hours a day. I can't give that kind of time away.
No.
So it was funny because I was just after this guy, and I'm like, look, this is important, but this might be a little extreme. I'm sorry, buddy, but
That's awesome.
yeah. So I don't think you really realize some of the technology that can be beneficial,
right?
But still, yet writing is a powerful component.
I tell like agents and now I go, and this is what Kevin taught me. He's like, try it for 30 days. Yeah. Now it has to be no excuses. It has to be consistent for 30 days. And if you miss a day, then you have to start all over. 30 days. He's like, if life doesn't change, what do you have to lose? But watch the progression, what happens. And after that, I watched it and I'm like, shit, this works. I can't explain how or why, but it works. And I miss like vacations or I'm sick, but very, very rarely will I miss a day.
What I love most is you mentioned journals and having a stack of them. I do the same. And I have like books, Sean books.
I love it.
And you look back, you go back a few years and you scan through that book and you're like, man, was I inexperienced, immature. Yeah. I mean, look how raw some of this was. But that's where the power comes from, because that reflection is what builds confidence for what you're doing and to keep taking those forward steps because they work.
Yep.
And you can reflect back. Steve Jobs says, you can only connect the dots going backwards. You can't connect them going forward because they're not there yet. So it's a pretty powerful reminder of journaling or writing or whatever it is that you're putting that down, because it gives you a log to look back on and then realize, wow, what I was able to accomplish by the grace of God, by Him blessing my steps and keeping it on the forefront of my mind. Those things are powerful, and I know. And you're saying the same thing. Those create success.
It does, yeah. And for the people like, I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't have time. Then you're never going to be successful.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen because now you're creating excuses, and excuses pile up, and then all of a sudden there's going to be an excuse why you're not. It's always somebody else's fault, right?
Yeah.
Like then get up earlier. Like trust me. You have time during a 24-hour day to go and do these two little things. Now, it doesn't have to be as extreme as we are, right? I'm not saying work out 3 hours a day, but you can go for a 20-minute walk.
Dude, I'm going 4 hours a day for the next 7. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not.
I'll hold you to it.
I know you will. That's what I'm saying. I'm just kidding. Kidding. No, I get it. That's cool. And what we're really talking about is instead of giving yourself choices, you're making a decision.
It's discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people, always say, choices, you're always going to take the least route of resistance, the easiest one. And when you make a decision, you're drawing a line in the sand saying, this is what I'm doing next. And when you set that in motion and you lock your mind onto that thought, then powerful things happen.
It's non-negotiable. One of the things is like growing up, I knew I had, at one point I had an alcohol problem. I probably had a porn addiction at one, so one thing I knew was I had an addictive personality.
Yeah.
Well, I realized, I'm like, what a gift. That's a God-given gift, right? So
it can be powerful in the right application.
You betcha.
Yeah.
Like, all right, now I'm going to learn how to channel this addiction, and I'm going to get addicted to things that are good for me.
Amen, brother.
My faith, my family, my health, right? So it's like I turned the table and took that mental, like, okay, this is a gift. God gave me this gift of having an addictive personality. Channel it on good things because there's a lot of good things that can be addictive, and watch what happens. And it's been.
I love that you say that. And here's why. Because most people will sit in a chair and, people watching this, or the reason you're here is because you've reached success. You have
a little
success.
bit. I don't feel like it.
We never do.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't either. I just had this conversation with somebody else.
That's good to know.
I'm retired, man. I feel, people ask me to do things and I'm like, I'm not that guy. And he said, Sean, you never will. You never will. And I'm like, well, that's the problem. So I've learned to listen to others more than myself, because that's my internal voice telling me things that, I don't feel internally about myself. I just feel like, I'm just trying to get my own, just like everybody else. Yeah. But when other people start inviting you or asking you to speak or asking you to share or your opinion on things, it's because they see something in you that you may not see yourself. So I've learned to become a yes person in a certain context.
Sure. Yeah.
Like when people invite me to events or whatever else, usually I'm like, I don't want to travel. I don't know. What's the point of that? And, and I used to make a lot of excuses. Now I just say, okay, if it's in my lane, I'm going to trust that this person sees something of value in me that I can offer. And I'm going to do it.
I like that.
And I grow from that.
Yeah.
I really grow from that. So it's a powerful concept. But I love that you're transparent in exposing some of the things when you mention the addictive personality, because people watch, podcast or whatever, or anybody who looks like they have some success and they think that they don't deal with life. They don't have real challenges, real problems. They just have, nice cars and nice homes, and that's that. They're just lucky, fortunate, whatever else.
Right.
But the reality is, it's not true.
Yeah,
not true at all.
There's always a little luck involved, but it's the hard work too. Yeah,
It's the hard
work, and as you know, like there's never really a day off.
There's not.
There's just not, and that's it. But I was, my wife and I went to Belize. One of the nice things, but we love to travel. Our kid is grown now, so we travel as much as we can. And I was at the beach on the phone working, and somebody's like, my sister was there, and they're like, "You're working?" I go, "This ain't too bad." Yes,
I'm working in Belize on the beach.
On the beach.
That's an improvement, right?
This is not too bad, yes,
Right.
yeah, like, what else am I going to do? Sit here and drink? So sure, yes, I'm taking a call on a beach in Belize. Could be way worse.
Way worse.
Yeah.
I stopped feeling sorry for myself a while back.
Yeah.
So I told the wife, I'm like, when I announced I'm going to retire, it lasted like this long. And I'm like, this is terrible. Who would do this? I'm like, I'm going to go nuts. I'm going to crawl out of my skin. But I had to kind of go through this whole metamorphosis and redefine what's in my mind and the rhythm of what I've done for so long that you can't always slow that down. It's like in motion, and you feel lost or confused when you start trying to break that pattern. It's hard. It's a real thing.
I've seen it. Yeah.
So it's tough. So now what I struggle with, and I try to help people see it now that I'm a little deeper into this, is, look, you've got to set a target point, and you've got to understand what that looks like for you and what you want that to be defined for your life. Because if you don't start back here, when you get there, you just can't shut it off. Right. It's not a light switch. It just doesn't turn off and you're just done. Doesn't work. So now I'm understanding that in the podcast, this is part of it. It's how I give back. I love helping people.
Yep.
I genuinely do. Love helping people. Yeah. So this is how I do some of that. I speak. I just do random things. I'm doing what I want to do now, but I have to still keep the work or rhythm to a certain degree. And I'm slowly getting better at taking a day where I do less. Until I get to the point where then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do nothing today, whatever that is. I don't think I'll ever do that.
I don't see that. I'm going to call BS on that one.
But you get the point. Point. Yeah.
Yes.
And now and again, our coffee dates with my wife, I'm telling her, I'm like, I'll never retire.
Yeah.
I'll never truly retire.
She probably didn't want you to because you'll drive her crazy.
I know, right? Because we're like stark. Yeah. We're those stark opposites you were mentioning.
Yeah, my wife and I are the same.
Yeah.
But that's why it works, right?
Yeah. It does, man. Yeah. She'll sit on the deck at the lake and just sip coffee, and that's like that's retirement for her. And I'm like, oh, I'll go nuts.
Can't do it. Like when we vacation, then my wife's the same way. She can sit at the pool and read a book all day. I'm like, you got 10 minutes. Like, dude, I need to do something. I'm crazy.
What I'm hearing is we need to get the wife together.
For sure.
Yeah. Go out and have some fun, get some adrenaline going.
That's it. Go play volleyball or go hike, like something. Like I just do nothing. For sure. And I always still go to the gym, still have my routine. Or else I can't do. I go crazy.
Yeah,
I don't sit well.
I don't either.
No,
I don't either. It's a personality type.
Yeah,
it's a personality
I'm way ADD, so I've learned real quick. Like I got to keep my mind occupied, or I go crazy.
Yeah, I think people need to redefine what they think success is, or maybe we should talk more about fulfillment.
Fulfillment's a big one. Yeah. You mentioned like the cars and the watches, and like that shit wears off so quickly.
Yeah.
One of my prayers every night is, God, let me be a good steward of your gifts.
Yeah.
And my ultimate goal is I want to be able to donate $1 million a year to whatever charity he guides me to. Right. So that's my long-term, like, what do you want to do like that? But it also takes you have to make money to be able to donate money.
Nature of the beast.
Last year I had my best financial year ever, and I've probably felt the most unfulfilled I've ever felt, which is crazy.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
Okay, what's missing? What can I do different this year? Because I don't want that feeling again.
Yeah. What's funny about that is, for those who are in the grind right now, they don't get that yet. And that's part of a message that I try to continually teach now that I've experienced that as well. And I thought all along the way, if I just reached this mile marker, this pinnacle, I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to feel a sigh of relief. And what I can tell you, and you've already said it, but it doesn't come.
Doesn't come.
It's just, you just keep moving the mark.
Right.
And at some point you realize you'll never hit the mark. You'll never hit it.
Yep.
It just is a continual movement of that same goal. It just gets bigger.
Yep. So can you ever be satisfied? This is a question my wife just asked me.
You say, can I? I don't know. No. I think there's a way. And I just, one of the persons who really hit on this was Dan Sullivan in a book he wrote called The Gap in the Gain. You ever heard of that one?
Yep.
Okay. So he talks about basically the gap is between where you're at now and that goal that you have. And we see, fulfillment or the ultimate win in being at that goal. Well, the problem is, as we make these incremental wins along the way, we don't even see those. We don't celebrate those. We just feel like we still haven't got to the goal.
That's very true.
And what happens is it just keeps moving. That goalpost keeps moving. So you stay in this state of unfulfillment or, lack of satisfaction or frustration, internal frustration with yourself. And when I read that book, I'm like, oh, dude, he just described me. What in the world? So I'm not the only guy suffering with this,
Yeah.
Because I woke up one day and I'm like, man, God's blessed me in so many ways, but I just feel like I'm not even excited about it anymore. What excites me is building something, watching somebody else be successful, pouring into them and seeing them grow from maybe a conversation, from an experience that you had that they haven't had. And then, that compounds, gives them a new perspective, a new thought, whatever else, reading that label we were talking about, maybe those are what truly are starting to fill the void, because the money, the cars, all that stuff, it doesn't do anything at some point.
It wears off. Yeah.
It does.
Yep.
Yeah. So it becomes stale at some point. Now, let's premise. I like my cars.
I like nice shit. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah.
Well, you said, yeah, that's right. Exactly. So,
And there's nothing wrong with that.
there's not.
But as long as you're continuing to help evolve and help others, and like I said, be a steward of it. It's not our stuff. It's God's stuff. So
I think it's mostly getting it straight up here.
Yeah, it's the hardest part.
Yeah, because you can have fun with all that stuff and appreciate it. And God intends for us to prosper.
That's right.
But at the end of the day, if, that's the only thing we're counting on, you're going to wake up empty.
My grandma said, God pays well. Do the right thing, right? Just do good, be good, and God will award you for it. And that's always stuck with me. And it doesn't necessarily have to be monetary. It can be other ways as well.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes just pouring into somebody.
Yep.
I love that. So as we kind of bring it home, we'll land the plane with number one. I'd like to hear what you may have as a book that impacted you in your journey.
Okay.
And then number two, for that guy or gal out there in the grind right now who feels like they just can't get to the mark and it's a long way away, what would you say to them based on what you've learned?
So the book is love them or hate them. Grant Cardone's 10X Rule.
Oh, love it.
Great. I've probably 3 times a year I'll go and read it. And I actually like the Audible just as much. Because it's him narrating the book. And he's a pretty charismatic guy anyway.
Sure. Yeah.
He'll go off on a tangent while he's reading the book. And then this chapter, I wanted to call it Don't Be a Little Bitch, but the editor wouldn't let me. So great book.
Love it.
So if there's a book I'd tell you to read that one. You don't even have to be real estate involved. It's kind of real estate, but it's more of a mental
mindset.
100%. Yeah, it's a great mindset book. So read that book, and what would I tell you? Surround yourself with the right people. I think is the true key to success is don't try to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Find the people that have done it. And the problem with society now is I hate social media. I don't even go because it's so fake. Really find the people that have really done something and surround yourself with those people. Learn from their mistakes. Don't repeat their mistakes, and mirror what they're doing.
And oftentimes those people are the quietest.
9 out of 10 times.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I love that. Totally agree with that. Bro, thanks for showing up.
Thank you, man. It was fun.
It was fun.
Good to see you.
Yeah, always good to see you too. I'm excited. Hey, I'll put the contact information here, but where can people find you if they want to reach out to you?
it sounds ridiculous, but Kyle Fernandez is not a real popular name.
Right. You're not the only one.
There's not many.
Okay.
So if you Google Kyle Fernandez, ironically, I will come up.
That's
like
awesome.
my LinkedIn, my Facebook. Yeah, there's a couple others, but there's really not a lot.
And it only costs $250,000 for that to happen. No,
That's it. Yeah. So, no, I'm not a tech guy at all. So
Yeah.
it just kind of happens that way because there's just not a lot of Kyle Fernandezes out there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
That's awesome.
you'll be able to find me on all social platforms.
Yeah. So, hey, check this guy out. He does have, I think you guys have just started a newer podcast, I believe.
Yeah, it's actually been about 2 years. We just finally, we started actually, we were breaking it up into shorts. Now we actually are launching the full podcast.
Love it.
Yeah, Elevate and Execute podcast. It talks about kind of like anything from real estate to fitness to religion, you name it. It's like whatever the hell we want to talk about, we talk about.
Yeah, love it.
Right now, I think it's my mom listens to it and maybe a couple other people.
I'm sure there's more than that, but
Yeah, we have fun doing it. Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
It's just a way to get content out there.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, hey guys, look him up. Kyle Fernandez, Elevate Realty, as real as it gets. We'll see you next time.
Appreciate it.